From Oscar Steakhouse, inside the Plaza Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, you're on the corner of Main Street. Welcome to the only podcast produced by and recorded in the Las Vegas Hotel Casino. From gaming to dining to entertainment to sports to Vegas history, this is the place to be for the inside scoop, because this is the place to be downtown. Now, here's Plaza CEO Jonathan Jossel.
Welcome back to On the Corner of Main Street, everyone. We are here with a really fun idea today, by popular demand, I will add.
Okay.
But before we introduce our guest today, Gary, nice to see you. Welcome back, Gary.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I do have to ask right off the top before we really get into the podcast, what's with the T-shirt? You have an American cheese T-shirt on. You always got props when we do these podcasts now.
American cheese had to represent on the podcast. We have a new cheese on the burger that I'm very proud of.
Okay.
It's all American cheese. It's no toxic, nothing bad, very healthy, tastes like real cheese. Eat New School, at Eat New School is the Instagram handle. And so that's the cheese on the burger here at Oscar's that everyone's going to be talking about soon. And I'm ahead of the curve. I got in a new cheese, so I'm wearing the T-shirt. Just looks good. We're talking Oscars today in a minute, so kind of went with the theme.
Did you bring out the caps?
We haven't introduced you yet. The caps are coming next, but by the man who needs no introduction, because he just introduced himself, Oscar Goodman, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here, Oscar.
Johnny, I can't think of a better place than being here. I really mean that. I started drinking here at 8 this morning and probably wind up about midnight tonight. It's a great place to drink.
But it's about 2:30 as we speak now, so we're
it is?
Yeah.
I've been drinking that long?
Courtney just bought him his beautiful martini. What's in that martini, Oscar?
It's a very special martini. It has a jalapeno.
See that?
Most people are very unimaginative and they put an olive in it. And if you go to some of these joints, they'll put an olive with some cream cheese in the olive and others.
Blue cheese.
Oh, is it blue cheese?
Blue cheese, yeah.
Well, I never have it, so it doesn't.
You're right, you wouldn't know.
It doesn't bother me. But I love the drink here at Oscar's. It's always cold. It's always big, and most of the time, with me at least, my favorite waiter of all time, a guy who I almost don't think of him as a waiter. I think of him as an old friend. Nick is sitting with us today. Nick and I met many years ago and shared the same friends.
Well, hold on, slow down. Let Gary do the formal introduction of our guest.
How am I going to compete with that?
Well,
he just did it.
He didn't do it yet. But you're not the host here. I'm sorry to tell you. This isn't the dinner series. Although the dinner series will be coming out after this or before this?
This will be coming out afterwards.
Okay, so you would have heard the most recent dinner series, which was excellent. Great reviews on the most recent dinner series.
But we don't have a date for the new one yet.
We got to do that after this. We will do that sometime in September. We'll do that.
Okay, because everyone's calling me and wanting to know whether they can make reservations already.
It's probably sold out already, and we don't even have a date.
That's it.
But we will follow up with everyone listening about the Oscar Goodman 2028 hats. Those are in hot demand.
I don't know where that came from, but it's very cool.
You're not running in 2028?
I'm running now for the border.
So what we're doing today is, by way of popular demand, a lot of podcast listeners have asked us to give more insight into the people that make the Plaza special. How does the Plaza run? Who are the team members? We've done a few of those in the past with some of our
That was early on. Yeah, we haven't done it in a while.
Some people like Sarah over there are too nervous to do it. They refuse to do it. So some people don't want to do it. But I couldn't think of anyone more special or that's been with us coming up on 13, 14 years.
13.
So why don't you introduce our guest today, Gary?
You guys both just butchered my intro. I was ready to go, but today we have a very special episode as we spotlight one of our own. He's been serving guests here at Oscar's for over 13 years with a smile, a story, and a level of class that makes every night at Oscar's feel like an occasion. Welcome, Nick Zia to On the Corner of Main Street, as well as Oscar Goodman. Welcome him back to On the Corner of Main Street. How are we guys today?
Thank you, Gary.
Oh, no, you go, my friend.
Thank you, Gary. It's an honor to be next to Oscar. Jonathan, one of the best CEO in town, and you as well.
Wow. Well,
we call you Ed McMahon. Can I call him Ed McMahon?
You can call him whatever you want to.
Mike Man.
Ed McMahon was the man next to Johnny Carson.
Oh, I see what you
I'll take that's the best compliment I've ever gotten on this podcast.
Right.
I'll take it.
Ed McMahon, he was a great person, right?
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Now listen, guys, we've never really done a podcast with 4 people, so you all need to let the other person talk, okay? We have to give each other a chance to talk.
Exactly.
Because,
I'd rather hear Nick than me.
well, you're here to help facilitate, but this is your restaurant. You're the brand of the restaurant. And this man over here is, by many people's perspective, is the nightly face of the restaurant.
Yes,
And he's
he
like
is.
a maitre d', and everyone knows him. If you've eaten in Oscars, you probably know who we're talking to here, with Nick being here.
Thank you.
He's probably one of the more requested people we've ever had. And when we opened the restaurant 14 years ago,
Wow.
coming up, December will be 14 years. Nick wasn't day one, actually, which we'll talk about in a minute, but it was really important to you and I. We started with beef, brews, and broads, and the broads were in some case yeah, there it is, it's still on the t-shirt, beef, brews, and broads. In some ways, the broads were going to be the ambassadors and spokesperson for you. But I think that's changed, and I think it's some of the team and the servers and people like Nick that have become the spokespeople for you and an extension of your brand when you're not here. And we thank you, Nick, for your dedication to the Plaza and Oscars, because it's couldn't be what it is today without you. And many restaurants, I'll finish and then I'll let Gary ask you the opening stuff. But many restaurants start really strong and then they decline over the years. Why I know this is so incredible and special is because we started out, and granted downtown was a different place 14 years ago. No one knows that better than you. But we started out 14 years ago, and it took us time to find our feet. And as we built an amazing team, and we have an amazing chef, and the food's gotten better, and downtown's changed, the restaurant's literally 300 times busier. And that's not an extension, that's not an exaggeration. 300x busier than it was in the first 3 years. So that to me shows the strength of the brand and the quality of the people and the things we're doing, in that we're able to grow over time as opposed to start strong and then decline.
Well, when I think of restaurants, I think of the people who have served me there, and how I feel from the moment that I walk in and go to the desk and check in. In the old days, Nick, remember when we checked in, we used to have our hand out and with a $5 bill in it.
Yeah.
Had the best seat in the house.
Yes.
And Nick worked at just about every joint in town, and they were very classy. And from when I went from place to place, he was there, and I was so happy that we saw each other again. And very, very special fella. And even as recently as this weekend, I was with some people. I call them regular people. They don't think they're big shots, even though we know they're no big shots. These guys didn't even think they were big shots. And they say, "How's Nick?" And I would never have dreamt that they would even know who's with them, helping them, advising them, making them happy. And this is the personification of the best ambassador that I think that Las Vegas ever had at any of the restaurants. And I have eaten at all of the restaurants where he was working.
All right.
So Nick, tell us about the start. Where did you grow up? When did you get to Vegas?
I grew up back in Iran, and I came to Chicago in '73.
So some
Okay.
people think we invited you on to talk about global affairs
No,
in
no.
Iran. That is not what you're doing
Yeah, no.
today. So thank you. So you went to Chicago in '73.
In '73, I went to Chicago to go to school there. I was there for 3 years. My cousin was there before me. He was working on his doctorate degree in mechanic. And then I stayed there for 3 years, went to Rosebud University. Then I moved here in '76. I had a buddy of mine in Vegas, and that he was in a school too in Vegas. So he called me up. He said, "Nick, why don't you come to Vegas, try Vegas, see how you like it?" So I came down in July in Vegas, July '76. And since we were a student, we didn't have that much money to buy brand new cars. The car he picked me up had no AC. And from the airport to the house was like 120 degrees. And I was going, why did I do that? Why did I come to Vegas? And so we went home, changed and everything. And at night, I said, what are we doing? He goes, let's go to the discotheque. We went to the discotheque, we drinking.
What was the
dancing.
discotheque called?
It was Dirty Sally, right?
Right, I
on the
remember
corner of the Spring Mountain and Las Vegas Boulevard.
So that's like Treasure Island now?
No, it's Wynn Hotel.
Okay.
The entrance to the Wynn Hotel. And it was a 5-acre lot. The guy who owned it was the owner of the restaurant Chateau Vegas that I worked for. And it was a bunch of stores in the front and the discotheque, big, huge discotheque. They had backgammon, they had bars, dancing, different alcoves and stuff. Very beautiful area. And so the second night, where we going? Now let's go downtown. So we go downtown, people drinking, dancing, gambling. The third night, let's go to the strip. So we go to the strip. This keep going on and on. I said to my buddy, I don't care how hard it is, I'm gonna stay here. This is the life of Vegas. The people that they appreciate this kind of life, they love that. They
You're
enjoy
right.
that.
Help me understand. 1976. So you'd already been here.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got here in '64.
I was going to say you've been
Right.
here 10 years plus. What was the town like in '76? And maybe Oscar can chime in on some of his experiences back then.
The Vegas was so close to each other. Tropicana was the last street. Decatur. After Decatur, it was nothing, bunch of ranch houses.
Wow.
Boulder Highway was the last street. If you want to go to the lake, you had to take the Boulder Highway. And up here, about Cheyenne was the last street. There was only a community college up there that I used
Right.
to drive to go to the college there. So that was all Vegas right here. Just
that
within
square.
5 minutes, you could go from different bar to a different bar, all around Paradise, Las Vegas Boulevard, maybe one or two on Flamingo.
And which were the casinos that were popular back then?
The Stardust, which I loved. I used to go there. They had a beautiful restaurant called Aku Aku. It's a Polynesian. They
Right.
give you a big bowl of a drink with 2 long straw for you and your girlfriend. And then they had a
That's
drink
a-
called Zombie. They only serve you one. And I used to call the guy, the manager. I say, I wait on Mr. Rosenthal almost 2-3 times a week. Can I have 2 zombies? So he said, give him another one. So I was the only one who can drink 2 zombies in that restaurant. Nobody else was allowed. It was so heavy. And
It's
Vegas-
probably like this martini today.
yeah, this tall. This tall. And then we used to come outside the hotel with a drink in your hand. You sit down and you put them right in the middle console, driving home, drinking, nobody bothers you. 87, they start saying, one of the waiters came to work. He said, Nick, they just stopped me. I said, for what? He said, I had an open bottle of wine. And they told me you cannot have an open container in your cars
Yeah.
anymore. That was 87, 88.
Okay, so hold
Pretty
on.
much the end.
So when you came here in 70, how long after you came here did you get your first job, and what was that?
Oh, within like maybe 2, 3 months, 3 months later. And life was so simple. The whole thing in Vegas was say, were black and white. Black pants, white shirt. You go into a casino, you want to apply for a job, black and white. You go to the restaurant, black and white. You go there, you want to be a change boy or change girl. They had a belt, they had all the, you didn't have to have experience. They give you a piece of paper application, or you want to be a waiter or whatever. They give you an application, write your name, your social security, your home number, and address. Done. They will call you the next day, or maybe a week later, go to work. The manager says, go upstairs, give your accountant your IRS paper
Right.
and all that, and come to work. That's it.
Wow.
No human resource, none of this stuff.
Right.
And then we were sitting some nights in the back of the restaurant talking to the guys. And one of the guys with his partner, the partner was not helping him all night. The guy gets upset and he goes to him, you know what, I'm going to have somebody break your legs because you didn't help me tonight. And the guy says, get out of here. Nobody take a note of that. That's the way they talk. Now, if you talk like this to tell somebody, I'm going to break your neck, they fire you.
I thought you were going to say, and then somebody broke his leg.
Yeah.
So then
No,
Oscar had to
yeah,
represent him.
I know.
Right.
That was,
So what was that first restaurant?
but what?
Where was the first restaurant that you started?
That Chateau Vegas.
That was the
It
first
was
one.
on Desertine, right across from Convention Center. The story of that
Where Piero's is now?
half a mile about Fiero.
Right.
Okay.
Piero was Villa Diesta,
Yeah.
owned by Joe Pigliatelli.
Yep.
And Mr. Splatro and his buddies used to go there after 11 o'clock When everybody leaves, Mr. Splatro goes in with the boys. They close the door. Joe Picciutelli cook for them. My buddy and another guy serves them until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
And then they give him some money. You guys go, they sit down and talk and do the business or whatever.
I have a feeling when you say the boys, was Oscar one of the boys?
Yes, of course.
Were you there, Oscar, when they went to?
Yeah, I was. I fell asleep at 11 o'clock, though.
Yeah.
Even though they went till 3. Yeah, these were the one thing that Las Vegas is missing today, and what Johnny and myself and Nick, we all agree upon, is we don't have any characters here. And I'm not talking about people who don't have character, but I'm talking about people who had nicknames.
Right.
Yet you didn't call them their nickname to their face.
Pig, yeah.
You know, like Lefty, it was always Mr. It wasn't even Mr. Rosenthal,
Yes.
Mr. Frank Rosenthal.
Yes.
He called himself Mr. Frank Rosenthal in the third person.
Yeah.
And don't call Tony the ant, because then you don't call anybody anything the next day, because you're not. Yeah, you're probably in a barrel down at Lake
Right.
Mead, but they were a different breed of cat,
Yes.
and everybody had respect for one another. I'll bet you, well, Rosenthal, he was I guess a perfectionist,
Yes.
and if he wanted to drink a certain way, that jalapeno in here would have to be pointed in that
I had to
direction.
go take his order every night.
You said you served him 3 times a week.
At least once or
Yeah.
twice for sure. He
Did
used
you
to come-
ever? Did he ever? Because in the movie, I think everyone's favorite scene in Casino is when he complains about the Blue Brewery. And
Yes.
I think that's everyone's
That
favorite.
was,
scene.
that was a true thing too.
He was like that. He was
That-
that.
He was
detailed.
anal compulsive. I
So
would
tell
say.
us what that. Did he ever yell at you for bringing something out the wrong way?
That happened in the Stardust
Okay.
when he was running the joint. So he ordered a blueberry muffin, and they brought him on, and they opened both blueberries, him and his buddy, and one of them was full of blueberry, one of them, and he got mad, and he went and talked to the guy. But since
I mean, it sounds crazy, but actually, as an operator, it's not that crazy. You want a consistent.
Yeah.
You want a consistent muffin.
Right.
Forget
Absolutely.
The way it's portrayed in Casino is excellent. And
that is one of the problems that the people have. If somebody is meticulous and wants everything done right way,
Right.
everybody says, "Oh, I hate this guy. I hate that guy because he's asking too much." No, he's not asking too much.
He expects
This
it.
is the proper way of doing your job.
That's
If
true.
you're not doing your job right, if the CEO is not going to do his job right, you're not going to get a paycheck after 2 weeks because he didn't do his job. So you have to do your job right.
Yeah.
And don't expect anybody else to do their job good, and you're not going to do it. This is one of the problems that gets the people in their head.
He sounds like Bill Belichick. to you, Joe.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, this
It
is how
was,
we
it
got
was. They were
and-
perfectionists.
And we were trained that way. We go in at 4 o'clock, we set up everything ready with the tuxedo, ready for 5 o'clock. Nobody ever goes and asks to go home because everybody knew they got to be there. And you're sitting, you got Mr. Rosenthal there, it's Tony Splatro there, you got Judge Franklin over there, you
Right.
got all those VIPs from Caesar's Palace there. Every night we had so many VIPs and so many people that we have to tend
Yeah.
that we, at the end of the night, we did not want the money anymore. We just want to go because
Tired.
you get tired.
But let me ask you a question, Nick. How does it work? Because you said there was no HR, there was no like process.
Right.
Who trained you? How did you become so good at your job? Like, was it more about the relationship and less about the
The maitre d'.
Well, the job was
I
a
would
different kind
make
of
sure.
job then too. And Nick was, with all due respect, because he was so good at what he did, those are the days that Mr. Green was in town.
Yes.
Who's that?
Who's that? Mr. Green is the suitcase that he used to take home every night, filled with green. Okay.
Excuse my naivety.
And if you didn't do your job, you didn't have a visit from Mr. Green. But if you did your job, people
Yeah.
were very, very generous.
It was something that you had maitre d', you had captains, you had this.
A hierarchy. Yeah.
Everybody had to get educated in what they're doing. So if you're the type of person who's lazy, you couldn't last.
Right.
You know,
No,
they
you could.
didn't want. They
And,
didn't want,
these fellas were all, in their own world, very, very
Right.
important.
Like they say the same thing about Caesar's Palace.
Right.
The owner of Caesar's Palace.
Well, Carolyn, my wife,
Yeah.
used to be their secretary. She opened up Caesar's Palace. She worked for, Waterman and Zarowitz and Sarno and,
Then he came Mr. Wynn,
yeah.
that I respect so much for Wynn. He was top notch. There is nobody ever gonna be in Vegas like Mr. Wynn, because
Well, Oscar will disagree with you, but that's
well,
Well, not really.
No.
I'm just saying they give him a lot of credit. And maybe Sarno deserves a little
That's
more.
fair.
well, he started. He
Sarno with the design and
He
the,
was-
the,
yeah.
the,
Well,
the theme building.
You know, like Steve said, if you want to imitate.
Yes.
Do a good job. You know, he
Yeah,
probably
I-
learned it from him, but he did such a great job
Right.
that Steve Wynn will give you the opportunity. Steve Wynn will give you all, but do better every day.
Well, we're not following the order at all here. But did you work for Steve Wynn?
Of course.
Where,
I
so,
worked with
so
Trey.
okay. After the restaurant you were at, did you ever meet Oscar in the '70s? You
Yes,
remember
sir.
meeting Oscar in the '70s
Yes,
at that
yeah,
restaurant?
he used to come in with them. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah. All everybody. That
Was he a good tipper? Did he tip well?
Yeah.
That's
oh,
pretty
yeah,
good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
For a guy who wants to make you that much
Well,
money.
we had locals, we had the tourists. We were right across from convention center, and we had tourists and the conventioners. So they used to tell us, you got to take care of all the three groups. Locals, if you don't take care of them, they're never going to come back. We're going to be out of business. And tourists, this is the life of Vegas. And conventioner, how can you miss that? This town lives on that. So this is how we brought up. Take care of them like your own family. And I used to remember when the CES comes to town, we didn't have enough employees to work breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So the owner, Al Mangarelli, he was a Chicago boy, he told
Client of
everybody, he says, this week, from the 1st of January to the 15th, or 1 week or 2 weeks, we need you all to be here at 7 o'clock in the morning, work lunch and breakfast, and then go home, take an hour break. Everybody's home was so close within 10 minutes.
Yes.
Change, shower, and come back.
Wow.
That's how dedicated.
And you
we
did
were.
not want to lose the job because
Yeah.
the job.
No, he wouldn't get you there.
They were good jobs.
But everybody loved to help each other. Everybody loved to help the restaurant. It was not the attitude, oh, this, I'm that, I can only work 8 hours. No, we're ready to work.
Was that one of the better restaurants in town
Yes,
in the
that
'70s?
was the.
Yeah,
You
it,
used to
it
go
was
there?
all the time.
And you said the owner was your client. What was his name?
Al Mangarelli.
Al Mangarelli.
And the bartender was my client, Cascallo. And the cocktail waitresses, they were my clients. It's like I owned the place.
Yeah.
And I went up there with all kinds of people. I mean, they were all, with me, they were aces. It was the best. Nick and I were talking about a judge that was my good friend, Tom O'Donnell. He used to go up there, and they had a restaurant where they, and there's so many things I would like to take from those days and bring them down here and make it more Vegas-centric. But as Nick says, everyone's in a hurry here. Everybody's coming from someplace else. They want to go someplace else. In those days, they liked to stay in the restaurant. They liked to talk to each other.
Yes.
Yeah, and they would have their meetings there, and they whispered because the FBI was sitting behind them, and they would. You probably knew more FBI agents
Yes.
than J. Edgar Hoover.
We had everybody, yes.
Right.
We had everybody there dining.
They're all there. Ralph Lamb was there,
Oh, yeah. I waited on him many times.
I'm sure, and he was almost sober.
Yeah, he was.
So where did you go? How long did you stay there? And then where did you go next?
I was there from 76 to 89. 89, the owner passed away. And I didn't work there because I knew a lot of problem. But he had the property on the corner of the Spring Mountain and Las Vegas Boulevard, they sold it to Steve Wynn. Kerkorian wanted to buy it before him, but he wanted 14 million. Kerkorian offered him 7. But Kerkorian wanted to build the MGM where the Wynn Hotel is.
Okay.
He couldn't buy that property from Al, so he ended up going to corner and Tropicana.
Yep.
And then what he said he had a partner in that property, and the partner somehow put his own name in there. So he said, I have to pay him 5-6 million, and I want the rest. So, and he ended up passing away, and then between the lawyers and all those people, they sold it. I don't know how much money the daughters got. He had 2 daughters, and nobody knew what happened to that property.
And
But
Johnny, talking about lawyers, and Nick doesn't brag about it, but he should. He raised a daughter who ended up the top of her class in law school.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that, Nick.
Yeah, no, see.
Yes.
People don't talk about it.
Thank
but
you.
We
Thank
took,
you,
well,
yeah.
we took the time to talk to each other and
Thank
find out how we were. And I knew every bartender. You didn't have to ask me that, but I knew every bartender in town. I knew every cocktail waitress in town because they sent me my business.
Yeah.
I knew every cab driver. Remember
Yeah.
Bill Murin,
Yes.
the one-man cab company?
Yes.
Represented him on a murder case of the.
Murder case. Yeah, he owned a place for a long time. He wouldn't let nobody else come and open a cab company.
Yeah.
It was only him, right?
Exactly.
And nobody could open a new
And he
cab
was
company.
I
in
liked
Vegas.
him myself. I liked
Yeah.
Murin.
I don't know if it's social media's ruined it or if the town just got too big and too busy and too spread out.
Too
but
fast,
I even
too
remember in
fast.
2007 when I came here feeling like it was by talking to the valets and the bartenders
Yeah.
and everybody else that you learned about the town and what
Yeah.
was happening. It does feel like now no one talks to each other. Everyone's on social media and that's where all the news is coming from and rumors and maybe there is an element of human connection that we are
Well,
lacking and
at
you
least-
guys lived the better generation of that.
I think so. In our day, if Nick told you something, you didn't have to have it in writing. You didn't have to have even a handshake. Just being
Yeah.
told that, you go to the bank on it, and that's the way the town was. And it's a wonderful way to live.
Yeah. Well, it's I told you the funny story about this restaurant, not to do with Nick, but when you and I did this deal, you told me I'll sign whatever you want, but if you don't do what you say you're going to do, you'll never hear from me again. And
Well-
you may not be around either. And I was 26 years old, and then we shook hands. We had a contract which expired,
Right.
and
It
banker,
expired?
It expired a while ago, and a
I
banker
think I
asked
used
me,
it for credit.
and a banker asked me to see it, and we saw it was expired. We probably have to address that. But anyway,
No, I don't think so.
no.
I think the restaurant business is probably the last place where people still have those one-on-one connections because they're sitting down and enjoying a meal. If you go to a concert or any type of live entertainment, it seems like 80% of the people are watching it as they're recording it on their own phone, right?
Yeah.
They're just watching it through a screen anyway instead of sitting back and enjoying the entertainment. I think, the restaurant business, sitting down having a meal, is the last connection piece that
Yeah,
we
that's
have
the
now with
beauty of
social
this
media.
business because everybody, after they done their work outside, whatever office is that, now it's the time to go relax, enjoy with their
Yeah.
girlfriend, with their friends, clients, whoever. So when they come there, they're ready to enjoy and they're ready to have a good time. That's why
Right.
sometimes they ask me, they said, did you ever had a problem with the mobsters? I said, no, I never had a problem because they were there to have fun.
Exactly.
And I was there to guide them through that night and get them whatever they want, give them best drinks, give them best food and all that. So
Right.
they were comfortable. They were happy with that.
And Nick, they couldn't wait to go home and drop their wife off and then meet their girlfriend for a drink.
Right.
Well, I want to get to Oscars and what makes Oscars special and your relationship, but just tell us. So after the '89, where did you go, and some of your other experiences in Las
After
Vegas? 'Cause
'89,
people are fascinated in the history.
Yeah, there was a restaurant. They opened up a restaurant called Cipriani. Now they have one in the Wynn.
Cipriani,
Yeah.
was here in Las Vegas.
It's here in Vegas. '89, they opened up. There was a chef called Ferrucci Duaningo. He was a chef at Caesar's Palace. Him and another guy that was a captain at the Hilton Hotel, the showroom at the Hilton, Elia. They opened one restaurant on Flamingo right across from the school district. The place was completely Italian with the Cleopatra chairs and the best setup. Open kitchen to the dining room. very exclusive. People comes in like Steve Wynn, his mom, and all the big people from the Spanish trade. They
Right.
opened the Spanish
Right.
trade. And a lot of the people, 90%, they call the chef, Ferrucci, and they say, we are coming, so-and-so, so take care of us. So then Ferruccio goes to the table, he talks to Joe and Laura and all the people, and he asks them what they want. No menu. Then he goes back there and he cooks, and he said, Nick, give this to Joe, give this to Laura, that. And the plates look like painting. They don't look like a plate. The master chef, he went to school in Italy. He was the greatest chef I ever worked with. He comes in the morning to get ready for night, to cut and slice and make different decor. He writes your name with vegetable on the top of the plate.
Right.
That is the type of chef I work with.
Wow.
And it was all there.
Yeah.
And I remember Steve Wynn moms used to speak Italian with her friends sitting
Right.
there. Yeah. And then
And she was a nice
she speaks,
lady.
Yeah, she speaks very good Italian. And then after that, I went to Las Vegas Honda. I started selling cars. All
Wow.
of a sudden,
Okay.
I said, my buddy says, why don't you come and try selling cars? I said, okay. So I went there and I started learning selling how to sell cars and everything. And I worked there for a year or two. Then another friend of mine opened a car dealership up in about a mile from here, right across from Jerry's Nugget, the used car lot. And I went there and I started working there.
What year is this?
90s, 91. And then one day I went to Golden Steer and I talked to the lady, Cynthia. Cynthia was the manager at the door, and somebody told me she was a girlfriend to the Sheriff Lamb.
Oh,
Sheriff Lamb liked her. I don't know. These are things that we say in the back of the house. I
right,
have no.
right,
The
right,
boys talk and the waiters talk.
right.
None of them has any documentation. So he said, so I went there, I saw Cynthia. She said, okay, give me a few weeks and I give you a call. So he called me, he said, you want to be a manager? I said, yeah, I'll take it. She goes, okay, give me a week. So a few days later, she called, she said, no, I need you as a captain because I already have somebody for that. You better as a captain. So I started working there. So while I was there, this guy, he was there before me, way before me. And he said, Nick, you know how Joe got this place? I go, no, I don't know. He goes, there was a restaurant called Four Fountains in 60s, right
was.
across from Riviera.
Yep.
So he said he was a waiter. Joe was a waiter in that place. And the owner had some problem with the boys, and they told him, you're going to get killed. So the guy had to leave town immediately. So he called Joe, one of the waiters. He said, listen, I want to give this place to you. I'm going to get out of town. You can have it. So they go to the escrow company. He signed everything to Joe, leaves. Joe starts running the place. He makes so much money. He comes and opens the Golden Steer.
Ah.
Now,
Joe Kalugian.
Yeah.
He was,
What was his last name? Joe?
Joe
Joe
Kalugian.
Kalugian,
Yeah.
and he was a nicest guy in the world.
Armenian Greek.
Yeah, but a degenerate horse bettor.
Yeah.
He bet every horse race that was.
That's what I was going to get into.
Okay, sorry.
Now, what happened, he gambled so much, he lost his restaurant on the gamble.
Who did he lose it to? Not. That's
No,
not how.
well, he borrowed money from the people and somebody probably took it over.
Okay.
So he become the waiter again in his own joint.
Jeez.
It's a great.
Then a few months or year goes by and this guy walk in, a Greek millionaire. Joe goes to him, he says, listen, this is my joint. Lend me some money. I'll run this place again. I give you your money back with interest. If not, you can have the place. So the guy looks at it, win-win situation. What
Right.
have I got to lose? So he picks up the restaurant, he gives him the money, and then Joe, from that day, whatever he touch turns to gold.
Yeah.
He buys wine. One time he bought like 100 cases of wine, And the same guy who sold it to him, he came back and he bought 2 cases for the price of the whole 100. He buys stock, it goes up. He buys anything he touches. And it was good until he passed away.
Wow.
This time he didn't lose it.
He didn't do the horse race.
Yeah.
He stopped the horse race.
Yeah,
after
and
that.
now when you walk into the Golden State, if you go a little bit inside, you look on the left, there is a pole, one standing pole, with a painting on it. If you pull that painting, behind the painting is a big safe.
Well, some of our listeners probably go to Golden Steer, and they might try this.
They didn't have the night drops in those days. So after everybody leaves, they had to keep the money in the restaurant. Where do they keep it? They build that safe, they put a painting, and you pull it.
Oh, I'm going back to try this.
A lot of people didn't use banks in those days. They picked a restaurant or a casino, and they used the safe at the restaurant or the casino.
But this one, they were smart. They had him hidden behind.
That's pretty. You mentioned a captain. Just for the people listening, explain the difference between a manager, a captain, a server, and a busser.
Okay.
Just briefly.
Right.
Just so people understand what you're talking
The
about.
old days, every gourmet room had a maitre d', which was the most knowledgeable, and everybody had questions. They go to him. Then underneath those, underneath the maitre d' was every team start with the captain, the head of the team, that he was between the guests and the other employees. And one person was in charge of wine and drinks. So the guests walk in, he talks to them, then he goes, and then you go ask him for a round of drink or wine, and then you take care of your drinks and everything. And then the captain goes back after that and take care of the order, the food and all that. And then he hands the paper to the back waiter. The back waiter goes drop that in the kitchen. There was no computer. You have to write everything down.
Right.
And then that guy had to be able to read your handwriting and everything. And then they hang up the order and they start cooking and everything. Then your back waiter, when it's ready, he goes bring out the. Now, when they bring the salad, everything was table side. The captain usually starts making the salad, the Caesar, the spinach salad, and all that at the table. Now you have to be so good and so fast to make the salad at this table, at that table, and that table, and the same as dessert, flambe dessert and everything. So a lot of time goes by, and you have to make sure every table has their proper service. And then the busser that clears the table and everything. So there's not many. I know Michael's at South Point still does the captain concept, but there's not many places still doing that same kind of structure. Right. Well,
in restaurants.
in starting 90s, they start going pretty much just plate the food at it, because then the food would come in a pan or a tray, metal tray, that then you put them on a burner. And then you warm them, cook them up a little more, and then you dish them out with the vegetable. You make them proper.
Table side, all tables.
Yes. Then you serve every one of them. It was not just the plate comes to the kitchen and put them right in front.
So Nick, what about at Golden Steer? Because I know Oscar still likes Golden Steer, and that's why this is a neutral podcast. We talk about everyone. What at Golden Steer? I know they have some booths named after some of the icons of Las Vegas, from the Rat Pack.
Right.
They actually have a Holly Madison booth. We might have a Holly Madison booth here soon too. But besides for her, what were some of the more exciting or famous guests you remember from the Golden Steer?
Well, it wasn't that many of them. I waited on Mr. Benny Binion's son, the one who
Teddy.
got
Teddy.
Teddy, I waited on him. I waited on Fletcher Jones,
Right.
Senior, the guy who owned all the Fletcher Jones and everything.
And how long were you at Golden Steer?
3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then they opened the MGM Grand, and I went to MGM Grand. That's where I waited on Frank Sinatra. And
Where at MGM Grand were you?
it was a steakhouse when they opened this MGM. They had a beautiful, magnificent steakhouse called Sir Reginald. And Sir Reginald was as big as a football field.
Wow.
That's how big that restaurant was. And invited on a lot of people, George Foreman, Frank Sinatra. And then the night Mr. Sinatra was there, it was a little private room, and he sat there and with his wife, Mrs. Barbara, and another couple. Then Don Rickles finished the show for him, and he came up there. But Don Rickles knew me from the old restaurant, Chateau Vegas, because him and Bob Newhart, they own homes in Vegas. And he goes, Nick, how are you? I said, I'm very good. How is that guy Bernard, the captain? I said, he was good. He's doing all right. So I start taking care of him and everything. And now I got two managers looking at me, not to do one wrong move. Everything has to be done properly.
Yeah, of course.
Table side and French service and everything. We had to bring some appetizer from the Italian restaurant and everything.
Right.
So Mr. Sinatra was kind of quiet until Don Rickles showed up, and he started calling him, "Oh, Francine, how are you?
Right.
What is going on? Why every time I go to the Italian restaurant in New York, they tell me, buonasera, buonasera." What is Frank said, "Shut up." So at the end, he called me over. He says, "Give me the check." So I brought the check to him, and he said, "Look at this, $3,000. All the work I did for him," Don Rickles said,
Right.
"all the work I did for him, now I gotta buy him dinner too." He said, "Pay it. I give you so much money, don't worry, pay." That's what Frank
And he
told
was
me.
a funny guy.
Oh, yeah.
He was a funny guy.
Wasn't Don
Yeah.
Rickles a comedian?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, he was a really funny guy.
he
My
was
God.
a
You
very...
couldn't walk. You walk by the table, he threw something at you. He said
Exactly.
something.
You better not have to go to the men's room
Yeah.
when something's happening with Rickles there. He won't ever let you forget it. And he'll remember from show to show, from year to year,
Yeah.
that this guy walked out when I was talking. That was a whole different ballgame. I don't know how to explain it. It was so
Sundays.
special. It was special.
Was there a culinary union back then?
Yes.
Oh, and
When the small
that's a story in and of itself, because the boys felt they were entitled to get their piece out of Culinary.
Yeah.
So the fellow who was running Culinary, Al Bramlett,
Yes.
was a real organizer, and some people went to him and said, "You better do this," and he said, "Not doing that." And next thing you know, he was shot in the desert.
Yes.
And the guys who say they shot him, although I'm not so sure, they weren't bragging, were the Hanley brothers, father and son. And I represented them too. I guess I represented everybody those days.
And on top of it, the town was so hard to live in those days, with the heat and everything. And they wanted the people to come and work here, It wasn't the appetizing town to be, beside the
I
fun,
see
the
what you
show,
mean. Yeah, you had
and
to give them
everything.
incentives, yeah.
Yeah, when you're working for years after years. And I remember a lot of people working here, they were from back east. In summertime, they all go home because the business was slow. We didn't have that much of a business summertime, and under Christmas. On Christmas, week of 2-3 weeks of Christmas, they shut off all the neon lights.
It was dark. They said it was dark.
Yes.
And all the showgirls would leave here and they'd
Yes.
go back to Paris.
Nobody was in
'Cause there's
town.
well, that's why the NFR was so genius.
Yes.
To bring the NFR here was the
That's
huge
right.
stroke of genius.
That's right. And, to minimize it, it'd be a whole different ballgame now because it's one of our biggest weekends. But everybody knew each other, and some people were liked more than others. But just such an exciting place. It really was. I mean, people treated each other nicely.
Nicely. I got to give it to the Italians that they built this town, to be honest with you.
Yes, of course.
If they knew the business and they say, we don't care you win or lose, just gamble. We take care of the food, the room, and the transportation for you.
Right.
And I think this is in their blood, because if you go to most of the Italian restaurant those days, and I'm still till now, you always see an accordion player,
Right.
a violinist, or a piano player. Somebody's playing music. So music and food was their legend, their entertainment type of thing. So
You know what the problem is, as I see it? For some reason, I don't know where they're hurrying to, but in those days when people went out, they got dressed. I'm not talking about putting on a suit. I'm talking about the women wore furs.
Right.
In this heat, they wore furs and jewelry, and
Right.
the men had cash payrolls, and they would go to the bar, even at Desert Inn Golf Course.
Oh my God.
Right, where you
That
go to
was
the bar
classic.
there.
The Desert Inn, the dunes, the sands.
You go to the golf course
Yeah.
and you drink at the bar there, then you meet your wife,
Yeah.
and you have a dinner, but the dinner lasts all night long.
Right.
Whereas now they're going to concerts, and I don't. That's the hardest thing for me to understand, how they could leave a nice place where they're having a nice time to do something other than eat and drink and talk to each other. Now it's so loud you can't even talk to each other.
No.
It's, one of the main reasons I love Oscars, because you could have a conversation here, and you can hear the person that you're sitting with, and you're not in a big hurry. And that is my ultimate goal. That if I can get my dream to reach fulfillment, to make it more like the old days. I want people to come in here and they know that Nick's going to be their waiter. They're going to get their drink. They're going to take their time. No one's going to hurry them. And they're not going anyplace else. They don't have to make it to the Smith Center. They don't have to go down to Fremont Street East. They're there for the evening, and it's a whole different feeling.
Well, I do think we do a good job of that here at Oscars, and people have clearly gravitated towards the place. There's a tough part is the outfits I can't help you with. People don't want to dress up anymore. You very rarely see well-dressed people anymore in this town, and in summer especially. But that culturally has been a major shift. But in terms of delivering a good experience, not rushing people, not turning the music too loud, not turning
it's
the
so
nightclub,
important.
it's a wonderful experience.
It really is. And the old places used to have the piano, as you say, which
Oh yeah.
I like the idea, but for some reason, I guess they don't fit into the new places, and I think that Oscars is relatively new. But someday we'll have a piano here. We had one.
We had one. We had a few different piano players
it
here
was
over time.
nice, and
Steve Wynn had a beautiful bar at the Treasure Island,
right.
and we had a two-piece band that was
what it
playing in that bar.
Yeah.
In the corner of the bar, a magnificent bar. Right next to it, he had the Francesco, the Italian restaurant.
Oh yeah.
And it was open together. Both you could hear the music from the bar into
That's
the
nice.
restaurant.
Yeah.
And one night I was waiting on him. I said, "Mr. Wynn, we have a lot of compliments on this restaurant. Everybody lives." He said, "Because I built it."
Of course. Well, he
course he
built
did.
everything.
When you were at the MGM, did Kirk Kerkorian or Alex Yemenigian come by a lot?
Oh yeah.
They were in there a lot.
Yeah, you know, something about Kirk, he was very down-to-earth person. And everybody says in life, I want to be a billionaire, I want to be a millionaire, but they don't have the capacity to be a millionaire, to be a billionaire. This person had a capacity
Yeah,
to be a billionaire.
that's a good point.
I have a best friend of mine worked for him in his private jet, and I used to go to the private jet. They took everything out of the jet, and it was coffee table, couches, a king-sized bedroom, a kitchen, and a bar that he designed. Every time Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin,
Right.
and Mike Tyson, and Michael Jackson, these people, they want to go to do the show in Madison Square Garden. They call Kirk, and Kirk would send them a plane. And believe it or not, Kirk came in many times into the MGM, his own hotel, and nobody recognized him. And one time he
Very
came into
quiet.
one of the restaurants, and I was standing there, and I walk in towards me. He passed the hostess, and the hostess didn't recognize. So I went there. I said, "Hi, Mr. K, how are you? Are you having dinner with us?" He goes, "No, I'm just looking for a friend of mine." And I looked to the corner of the hallway, and that was Ayakoka was coming. And I told him, "Are you looking for him?" He goes, "How do you know?" I said, "Because my buddy told me a lot about you and Ayakoka." It was all over the news anyway when Ayakoka helped him to buy all the stocks in Chrysler. So and then one morning he came in and he wanted to talk to Alex Yamanigia. Alex would get all the info about the stocks and everything, and then he sit down with Kirk. And Kirk wasn't even a graduate, high school graduate, but he knew where to invest. So Alex would give him all the info, and then he tells him, "Okay, buy $1 million, the stocks here, 10 million over there," and all that. So he came in, and I was there with Joe Nader, one of the managers, and Joe, let's take care of him. It was him and me and Joe. And then he said, "Nick, can I get a cup of coffee?" I said, "Okay." I went there, I heat up the cup, I heat up the pot, everything hot, hot, hot. I brought it. As soon as I put the cup down, he touched the cup, and he says, "Hot cup, thank you." So I finished it and everything. When he got up, then Alex showed up, talked to him for half an hour. When he showed up, he gave me $100. He said, "For you." I said, "Thank you, boss." So I went home and I called my buddy. I said, "Ron, Mr. K was here. This is what happened." He said, "This is the whole Pepe of his life. When Kerkorian wakes up in the morning, him or somebody else in the house goes to the sink, put the cup, opens up the hot water, and the water will go for maybe 5, 10, whatever minutes, and he goes sit down and read the newspaper, come back, pour the hot water out, pour a cup of coffee for himself, sit down, takes 2 sips of that coffee, and that makes his day.
Wow.
If not, the whole day
It's messed up.
he's mad."
Well, we for anyone that doesn't know what you're talking about, we had Alex Yamanigian on our podcast probably 20, 25 episodes ago. So if you want to hear the story of Alex Yamanigian and Kirk Kerkorian, you can go back in time and hear that through Alex's eyes. But before this restaurant opens, and I knew you were going to be an amazing guest for us, and this could go a long time.
Thank you.
But the restaurant's going to open, so we need to get to the meat and potato with you and Oscar and the where we are sitting right now. But I do want to ask you. So, you worked for Steve Wynn, or where did you go after MGM? Just get us up to
Where do
13
I
years
go?
ago when you joined us. Where were you in between?
Oh, okay.
MGM.
After the MGM, I went to Treasure Island. After Treasure Island, I went to Smith & Wollensky,
Okay.
one of the best steakhouses in Vegas.
Yeah.
Smith & Wollensky. They have their own dry age room, which makes a big difference.
It's gone now, though.
They have no. They moved. They used to be on Las Vegas Boulevard, right across from Monte Carlo Park now.
Yeah.
And now they're at the Venetian.
Oh, I didn't know they were at the
Yeah,
Venetian
they're at the
now.
Venetian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they had a picture of you in the hallway, one of the hallways on the
Right.
3rd floor at Smith & Wollensky
Yeah.
with the general manager,
Yeah.
an Irish guy. And I used to look at that all the time, and it says that you were there in one time and they had
Yeah,
your picture.
I used to hang out every place. I did. I mean, that was the nature of my law practice. I worked all the time, and when I didn't work, I went out and met the people I was serving. So
Yes.
it's a perfect town.
So, serving in a different way to what Nick was serving.
Oh, and we're both selling the place for whom we worked. That's
And so you only worked for Wynn for a short while at Treasure Island. Smith and
No, it's about 6 years at
6 years there
7
at
years.
Treasure Island.
Yeah.
And was it a good place to work,
Oh,
Treasure
yeah.
Island?
Oh yeah, very good place. I mean, Steve would take care of you like there's no tomorrow. Steve Wynn was the first one who brought the wardrobe section.
Yes.
You go in, there was 3 sets of clothes ready for you, dry clean, iron every day. The lady hands you their clothes. You go change. He didn't want nobody comes to work and say, I forgot to wash.
Are you saying that's not what happens here at the Plaza, Nick?
I know. But we do it here. Yeah, we get paid for it too. So he did that, and then every Christmas, he opened the ballroom. He threw a party for the employees and the family, shows and drinks and food, everything. And then he tell all the boutique shops that was at Treasure Island and at the Mirage to bring all the stuff in the ballroom, display for the employees, 80% off.
Wow.
I bought like about 7, 8 boutique shoes just for my wife one time. And I mean, it was amazing. I mean, it was like
great.
$600-700 pair of shoes that he give it to employees, and he says to the boutiques, now go buy new stuff for the guests. And that's very classy, you know.
Yeah, well, everything they did in those days was classic.
Yeah.
But if you didn't do your job, you were out of there.
Oh yeah.
You were out so fast, you didn't know what hit you.
One guy says, if Steve Wynn calls you to go to his house, and it was only him and you, it's the end of you. The day that Steve Wynn calls you, he said one time, one of the big bosses, that Steve took care of him, paid him good and everything. He did such a bad job. Steve called him and he said, come here. And then he told him, didn't I do this for you? Didn't I do that for you? Didn't I pay you this? Why did you do this? Why did you mess up? That was the end of you. If Steve calls you and you and him only, that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
It
Vegas.
hasn't really changed much for most places. Know if the boss or the CEO wants to meet with you one-on-one, it doesn't always mean good things.
Well, you know, that's how they ran, and that's how good they made money. Steve Wynn, I think MGM made the biggest mistake to win and took over the Mirage, and they should let Steve Wynn take care of that, because he brought all the rich people to this town. One time we had a banquet party at the Mirage in Chinese New Year's. He had 2,000 Chinese invited guests into the ballroom. The whole place, when you look, it was red and gold on the tables.
Oh, he was a showman.
Dancing dragon, everything. Everybody got fed and drink and everything, and they send them out all to the Baccarat and all that. I mean, he knew how to bring people to this town.
Right.
All right, so let's talk about that.
Let's fast forward. So you come and start at the at Oscars, right?
Yeah.
There's already Oscars at the time. Tell us what that experience
Why did you
was like.
choose? Why did you choose Oscars? And
Well, I was working at the Smith & Wollensky. It was a full time there. Then I came here. One of the guys I was working there, Chance, if you remember Chance, he was working with me at the Smith & Wollensky. And then one day I came to see him, and he goes, Nick, you want to work once in a while if I need somebody? I go, maybe, I don't mind. He goes, okay. Go put an application at across the street, Vegas Club. The human resource was there.
Over there, yes, that's right.
So I went to put an application there, and that was a hot day too. I said, what am I doing this? I already got a job. So what happened, he didn't call me. Months went by, he didn't call me. Then he started calling me once a day, and then he left. And the new manager, he called me more than he called, my buddy called me. And then on Thursday nights, they didn't have a lounge server. So he said, Nick, I need you. You're the bottom of the list. I need you every Thursday in this place. I don't care where you are. I said, okay, I'll work.
What year was this? Like 13, 14?
Yeah. So I hang on, I work here. Sometimes I used to give a good shift out over there. There was more money, and I didn't know why I'm doing this, But I love this place. It's beautiful decor, beautiful view and everything. So then one day the big manager came in and said, we want all the serve everybody, all the front and back of the house here on Saturday morning. We wanted to talk about you. And then what happened? We went there, and then they said somebody bought the property, Walgreens, not Walgreens, the Target.
Yes.
It was 1 acre and a quarter. They,
Where are you talking about? Oh, Smith and Walensky.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about that. Okay.
So they bought the property for $58 million, an acre and a quarter,
Right.
Yeah.
to put a Target. And he said, we're going to close within 3 months, and you guys find a place. Then we might be going to open within a few years, but we don't know where yet. And the same day that I lost the job over there, I became full-time here.
Wow.
That was a blessing, and I said, thank you, Jonathan, for keeping me here for a while. Now I got a job.
Now you're number one senior.
Yeah, now I'm number one senior.
You're the most. We have got people in the kitchen and buses and
Yes.
runners who've been here from day one,
Yes.
overnight.
Yes.
But you're the only server, which is unheard of to be at a place 13 years,
Thank you.
14 years.
There's people here that I talk to. Sometimes the guests ask me, he says, how good of a place is it? I said, I talked to this guy one day that was getting ready to retire, and he said he was 16 years old when he got hired here.
Isn't that something?
Now he's getting retired. He was one of the guys down.
All right, can we put you on the spot? To put you on the spot in front of Oscar. Don't get nervous. Imagine the three of us have come to Oscar's for dinner. We've never been here before, and you're our server. How would you describe Oscar's and the experience here? I mean, you've done this so many years.
All right. This is the place of the ultimate gourmet in dining. And then you see the history of old Vegas right here in front of your eyes. All the shows that was going on in Vegas is happening right here. And we have a simpatico room that all the boys used to go there and sit down and talk about what the plan is going to be. And I'm from an era that I used to have managers sit a party, 5 or 6 people, and tell me, listen, they're talking and they don't want you to listen. If you listen and they feel that you're listening to what they say, I don't guarantee nothing. So take it from there.
That's
This
great.
is where you are. This is where you are. This is
How did he do, Oscar? You like that?
I love him, and I think that he represents everything that Oscars wants to be and is headed for. The ultimate old Las Vegas experience.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we have a wonderful chef here.
Oh, yes.
The chef, not only is he a good
He has
guy,
a good passion, too.
he's a great chef, and the people who work behind the bar are great, and it's almost like a family. We lost some of our best friends over the COVID, and
Yes.
We lost Rocky over COVID.
Yeah.
We lost Bobby a couple of years ago. Bobby was here with you from the very
Yeah,
beginning.
within a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Within a couple of weeks. yeah.
and it cast a pall upon the whole restaurant. Most places, if somebody keels over and dies, okay, somebody's going to be there to take their place. But there's a personality that the restaurant has, and
Exactly.
I remember us talking when Bobby passed away, and Bobby was another very famous server here at Oscar's with you, the most
Yeah.
requested. And we had this conversation, Oscar,
Yeah.
at his memorial. But the idea of this new generation, there's not much loyalty anymore.
None.
There's not the same relationships.
Nope.
And so, how do you build these restaurants? Because that is what makes them special. How many people come in here every night asking to have Nick as their server?
Thank you.
It's a lot.
I'm sure. And the thing that I've noticed over the years is we have more young people asking about Oscars and saying, I've been to Oscars, than the old timers, which is good and bad. I like to have that mixture because it has just a nice feel about it where you're welcome and you're happy that the customer's there, and it should start right at the doorway there. And they should say, hi, Mr. Jostle, when he walks in, and he should know that they're coming, and he should have their drink out. He should know what their drink is. You do that, then it's like the old Vegas, because that's what they did there. You knew every customer's name.
Right.
You knew every drink that they had. You knew every girlfriend that the guys had, and every wife that the same guy had. So you just, it was one big, wonderful family. Now everyone's in a hurry. Slow down. Enjoy yourself. Talk to one another. Don't come in here if you're looking to start a fight. come in here because you want to have a first-class experience. And Nick is the personification of that. That's the way old Las Vegas was, and that's the way Oscars is, but continues to. Every day we have to overcome the hurry that people are in. As Jonathan looks at his watch.
Well, no, I don't want the restaurant to open, but I do want to say, it's important, Nick, that you teach the next generation the skill of hospitality. Anyone can teach them steps of service. Anyone can teach them how to have certain rules within a restaurant. But having hospitality and human connection has to come from people like yourself, setting the example to the next generation, the people that did it for you. I was curious to ask you, not to make us feel good about ourselves, but how have you noticed the evolution of downtown Las Vegas, the changes in downtown and at the Plaza that affect you directly? You've been here 14 years. How have you noticed the changes and the different people?
Exactly. This is what I've been telling to the guests a lot of the times. When Oscar Goodman became the mayor, the first week, he said, I'm going to put a lot of money in downtown, and I'm going to make downtown the place that everybody wants to go. In those days, downtown was gone, ran down, and it was so down that nobody wanted to come downtown.
Right.
So then I was watching the news, reading newspaper and all that, and then the people were saying, this guy has no clue what is he talking about. Downtown is done, it's finished. It's wasting taxpayer money.
Wow.
Exactly.
Right.
And then and I was thinking, what is wrong with that idea? The man wants to bring back a place to make it better. So it's a little bit old. People, casino owners don't want to spend as much money as to redo their casinos, make it nicer, but he probably can get them to do that. So as the time went by, his plan worked and his vision worked. And I used to work on the street. Some nights I used to hear the guest party of 10, 15 people sitting talking, and they saying, from here we're gonna go to the zip line, downtown, zip line. So the guy is eating in a restaurant on the strip, and now his next stop is downtown.
Great.
That is what happened.
That's how you knew it was
agree.
happening.
That's what happened. And I myself, I never thought I'd be here one day because I always work on the strip. But he did such a great job, and then you guys finished it and especially you, Jonathan, with no budget, you built this place. You redid everything from when I came here, everything was low. I mean, carpets, buildings, lights, table games, everything. All the jackpots were old. Everything was old. Now you redid like a brand new casino and a brand new hotel. All the rooms are redone. Yep. That is amazing for somebody that they don't give you $1 billion. Hey, if somebody gives you $1 billion, hey, go do this.
Yes.
That's different.
Right.
But if somebody says, build it with whatever money you get, then that's it.
Well, wait till they give me $1 billion and you see
I
what I do with it. But he is worth $310 million, Oscar. So he must have known what he was doing.
Well, and sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah.
So Nick, you've been a staple here for so long. What keeps you coming back day after day?
A lot of things is happening here. A lot of nice people coming through here. I even sometimes go out, have dinner with them. They invite me to dinner. I invite them to dinner. Very great people, very interesting people. And sometimes I run into young crowd that they come here and they tell me, where's Oscar? And I say, how do you know Oscar? You're like 21 years old. And the guy says, through internet, I know everything about Oscar. This world is changed now. Before somebody had told you about Oscar in the old days, or you go to the library and read about him, but right now all you need to put Oscar Goodman. It gives you the whole history. The other night I had a couple that they came here from Texas,
Oh, okay.
and they were sitting, very nice couple, and while I was talking to them, they look out here and they saw Jonathan, and the lady goes, that's him. I said, "Oh, Jonathan?" He goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Yeah. I watch the podcast in Texas. She's watching the podcast." And then I brought her. I said, "You want to meet him?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Let's go." I brought her here, right here. Jonathan was right here. And then Jonathan talked to her. He said, "Where are you?" She's staying on the strip and everything. He said, "This is my card. Next time, call me." This is a great thing about him. Any guest wants to get a hold of him, they can get a hold of him.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Call
And
me
that card
I
even
give
has a cell phone number on it. I don't know why he does it, but
you- Hey,
It's okay
Yes.
so far.
Yeah.
Nick, I really appreciate you telling that story. That's very meaningful.
It was
Thank you.
amazing.
And I'll leave you with this thought, which is I love it because, Gary, you do this, some of our hosts do this. But the fact that you guys go to dinners off property with our customers, that's how you know you have special relationships. When I hear that you go and eat at a different restaurant with our guests, I love it because it's such a great
Thank you.
relationship. That's
Thank
you do it. It's pretty amazing.
yeah. Well, they're the nicest people you can ever encounter.
I think, Gary, to answer
Yeah,
your question,
it's-
it's the people that keeps
Yeah.
it doing
Yeah,
it day out.
absolutely.
So
day out.
lovely. They're amazing.
And-
that's what I say. One of the things I teach to all the people that I train, I tell them, listen, if you don't like people and you don't stay in this business because you're going to be miserable.
Yeah, good point.
And I know it by heart because you got to love, you got to enjoy their conversation and everything. Within 5 minutes, they tell me everything about themselves, where they're from, what they do. And, I'm here to do this. I mean, it's amazing. They love
I
me.
think it's amazing, but it's a fact.
Well, I think. Sorry, go ahead, Oscar.
No, what Nick's saying is absolutely a fact. This is a place with humanity,
Yeah.
and energy, as you say, and people relate to one another, and they care about one another, and we have to keep that up. And it's not just so we work at it; it comes naturally here, and it comes naturally as a guy like Nick. He's a humanist, a guy like yourself who cares about other people. You put that combination together, you can't fail, as long as Ben will keep on cooking.
Chef Ben, shout out to Chef Ben, and shout out to all your regulars. And if you've eaten at Oscars or you haven't eaten at Oscars, come down, ask for Nick. He's here. What are your days off so people know?
Monday, Tuesday.
Monday.
so you got to get ready to get to work
Yeah,
here in
let's go. We're-
like 40 minutes.
It's all
I
under
think you
control.
already answered your last
He
question.
just answered it for
Maybe
me.
Oscar
Yeah.
wants to, but generally, Gary's last question is: what advice would you give the listeners about life, career advice, any guidance you want to give? I think Nick, yours sounds like you would tell them to only stay in this industry if they're people, if they like talking to people.
Jonathan, there's no business like show business.
Wow.
You know it better than me. And they asked Johnny Count. Yeah, Count.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the.
Who?
Let me see. I have her name here.
Wait,
Connie.
what is this?
No, this is some of my notes.
This-
brought notes.
Connie Chung was interviewing Marlon Brando one time, and I was watching that.
Yes.
And she said to Marlon Brando, she said, "You are an amazing actor. You are the best actor on earth. You are this and that and that. What is it like to be a great actor like this, like you?" Marlon Brando says, "We are all actors. We are all acting the second we wake up. You go to work, you're acting. You go to shopping, you're acting. You go to your wife, you're acting. You go to your kids, you're acting. Wherever the day of morning or night, you're an actor. Might as well do it and do it good."
Wow.
Good
This is
advice. That's-
I
Marlon
don't think we
Brando.
can. I don't think we can top that. But I didn't realize you had notes. Did we cover all of your notes? Did you talk about all of
No, it's still a lot left.
it? Really?
Yeah.
Just in case Oscar, wants to bail out of one of the dinner series, Nick could just step right in and he's
Yeah.
got his notes and
Absolutely.
stories.
What was? We're not going to talk about them, but just so I know for next
One thing I
time.
want to tell you about
Yeah.
that's here, which is more interesting. We are the second beef, booze, and broths place in Vegas. You know which one was the one before here?
No.
Okay, you know it. It was a casino called Jolly Trolley.
My clients.
The two brothers from New York. They own it right on the corner of Sahara and Las
Right.
Vegas Boulevard. When I came here in '76, I lived right behind it.
Okay.
And I used to walk there, and the best burger, like our burger, in Vegas was in that place.
What was it called?
Jolly Trolley.
Jolly Trolley. Wow.
Dennis Mastro is one of the 3 partners there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the place was packed.
And they used the tagline Beef, Brews, and Broads?
No, the place was packed. 24 hours. People were playing, people were eating, people were playing machines and everything. With all the tables, blackjack tables right here, there was a curtain that separate all the blackjack tables from the other side of the casino, which you had to go around and go over there. And there was a stage with the go-go dancing girls dancing on the stage for free.
Wow.
Just get a drink, go sit down, and what? Beef, booze, and broads were over there. That casino.
Right.
That was right in there.
Well, Nick, thank
Vegas.
you for your time. And what we'll do is, because you have your own notes, I didn't know that, but next time we'll do this again, and we'll give a bit of time, let Oscar refresh himself, and we'll do this again, and we'll let you lead the podcast, and you can come up with your own stories. But thank you for your time today, and thank you for your dedication to the Plaza and Oscars and helping us make this place special.
It's an honor to work for you and to work for Oscar.
Well, you don't work for me, Nick. We're friends.
You're the boss of the bosses.
Well,
Oscar, somebody asked me the other night, but do you have a vegetable in your martini? It looks like a vegetable in your
we
salad.
started
You
off
have a
that
salad
way.
in your
It's
in your
called a
martini.
jalapeno, and I wouldn't eat an olive if my life depended on it.
Well, you go enjoy your martini. Nick, you go to work, and thank
Yes,
you
sir.
everyone. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
Have fun, everybody. Nice
Okay,
meet-
thanks.
Thank
dude.
you.
Thank you.
Are you a fan of On the Corner of Main Street? You're listening, so we'll assume that's a yes. So share the love, rate, review, and tell a friend to subscribe. Also, follow us on Twitter and Instagram @PlazaPod, on Facebook, Plaza Podcast, and feel free to write to the man himself @Jonathan Jossel. We'll see you next time, right here on the corner of Main Street.